I see a lot of people stand still and flex the horse back and forth. And you get on and you flex this way. And you flex that way. And you're constantly flexing back and forth. She's had this done before. I don't like to do this. Couple of things. That gets the horse soft in the neck without engaging the back end. Soft in the neck means nothing without a rounded back. I like to do that at a walk. Last week in the live, I talked about a couple of different bloodlines. In the live video I do every Thursday. And this is Annie. She is rooster bred, or if you're familiar with reining horses, you'll be familiar with rooster. And roosters are really, really good horses, but they tend to be kind of headstrong and sometimes have a big motor. And as far as roosters go, she's not a bad one. She's ridden by a youth rider, and generally they get along pretty good. But what she's here to work on is just her willingness to steer, because the youth rider isn't very strong. It's a young youth rider, and she doesn't have enough strength to pull her nose, and Annie will take her and go where she wants to go. So that's what I'm going to work on with her and show you what I'm doing with her. She came in a few days ago. I have my heavy ring snaffle on her. That's the bit that I use for this kind of work. And I got on her, and all we've done so far is walk circles. And I'm being pretty soft with her, just kind of riding. But when she goes to take her face away, I'm going to pull pretty hard like that. Not going to jerk on her. But I'm just going to say, hey, let's go over here. And then I'm going to get back soft again. I am not going to stay mad at her, and I'm going to get mad at her. I'm not going to, right there, let's go this way. I'm not going to hold it against her that she wants to go the other way. She really don't mean to. What normally causes this situation is the rider kind of riding heavy on one rein. And since most riders are right-handed, the right rein is usually the one that they get stiff on first. So I started walking some left circles. Now we're going to walk some right circles. Right there, she's kind of rooting down. I'm going to pull her head. That's another thing that a lot of horses will do, is they'll root down to pull slack out of the reins. That happens a lot when the rider is riding with a tight rein with contact and never gives release. Let's go over here. So it's not as much the steering, which the steering is what I want to fix. But what I want really, where the root of the problem is just her willingness to go and keep doing what the rider's asking her to do. If we go in a left circle, I want you to stay in a left circle until I tell you to do something else. And you notice I'm not jerking on her. That's important. I'm just kind of firmly pulling, just a little firmer than what I normally would. Now she's wanting to leave over here. Let's go over there and kind of send her forward with both legs. Let's go back to the right. She looked out that way, but she stayed in my right circle. That was improvement. That's better. Now, I always get a lot of questions about how much of the training, the connection, the leadership that I do with the horses will carry through with the owner when the horse goes home. And what a lot of this does, it gets the horse into the mind frame to be open to that leadership, open to the steering, open to things done right. But if the owner doesn't make the adjustment to keep it going in the right direction, if the owner keeps doing the thing that created the problem to begin with, then the problem is going to come right back. And that's why it's important that the owners get some help, ride with me, watch the videos. Sometimes it's as simple as watching the videos of what I'm doing with the horse, talking about what the horse needs and what causes the problems, like I am with her. And that way the owner can adjust. And as far as leadership goes, that the owner needs to learn to be a leader. If you have a friend that you think needs to watch this video, share it with them. Let them see what I'm doing and might help more people. And with these rooster horses, like she is, they're kind of headstrong. They're a little bit gritty, which makes them good reining horses. Some of the ones that are good are really good upper level horses. And so they can be a little bit of a challenge to train or to keep trained. And actually, as far as she goes, she's a pretty easy one. I've worked with some roosters way more headstrong and a bigger motor than her. Let's go out. Let's trot some big circles down here and let's see what happens. Put a little challenger a little bit, make it a little bit more like work. Again, I want to be soft. Just ask her to stay in this circle. And I'm going to go to a loose rein. A lot of riders have a hard time going to a loose rein. I've worked with a lot that have. And if you never go to a loose rein, you end up creating some issues. And if you ride English, work with a lot of English riders, you don't have to go to a totally slack rein like we do in Western, but you still have to give a release. You can't balance on their face. Whether you ride English or Western, you can't use your hands for balance. And that's the issue that all riders have, because just in our everyday life, our hands are what we use. It's what we use to do stuff with. So that tends to be where our balance is. When we're riding a horse, our balance needs to all be in our seat, our hips, our legs, our abdomen, our whole body, except our arms. We're using our arms to do a little bit of steering, get soft, using our hips to ride the horse in that direction. If you're finding what I'm doing helpful, if you would click the like button, and that will help YouTube know to send the videos out to other people. She needs a little bit of frame to bring her nose in. I'm not going to put as much of that on her as I would a lot of other horses, because she has about enough softness. And if I was to get her more soft with a beginner youth rider, or more beginner, that I suspect is balancing in the face, that's just going to escalate the problems later. So I want her soft to steer, willing to steer, but not overly soft in the pole. I see a lot of people stand still and flex a horse back and forth. And you get on and you flex this way, and you flex that way, and you constantly flexing back and forth. She's had this done before. I don't like to do this. A couple of things. That gets the horse soft in the neck without engaging the back end. Soft in the neck means nothing without a rounded back. I like to do that at a walk with my bend counter bend exercise. Flex her to the inside. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing here, put it in the comments below and I'll see if I can answer your question. That lifts the shoulder here, where when you're standing still, you're putting her on the shoulder when you do this. This way it lifts the shoulder. There's my bend. Let's see if she knows a counter bend. There's a little bit of a counter bend. There we go. Move her shoulder, move her shoulder. Not real good at it. I'll have to work some more on that. She does know a little bit of leg cues. This horse has had some nice work done to her at some point. Breaking into pole a little bit. It's a nice horse. So I'll continue to get her nice and soft. and then I'll have her owner, her rider, come, and I'll work with her, and we're probably going to end up working with her hands a lot so that they can move forward and progress. One more thing I want to add before I close. I am working on getting my live trainings that I do on Thursday. They're usually an hour, roughly an hour long. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to watch those. And a lot of that, I'm standing still talking and answering questions, horse training questions and general horse questions. I'm working on getting those uploaded to Spotify as a podcast. And when I get those up, you'll be able to listen to the audio in those live trainings through Spotify. That way you can listen while you're driving and be able to listen to the whole episode, because they get pretty in depth and I answer a lot of broad range questions. It's pretty interesting and educational stuff that I cover. And so that way you'll be able to listen to those when you're driving, and I think there'll be a lot of value there. If that's something you think you would be interested in, you think you might do, put it in the comments so I know whether it's worth the trouble. It's going to take some effort, but if I have enough people that would like that, then I'll go ahead and get them uploaded to Spotify. So this is Annie. I'll put a link somewhere to her other videos. This is the first video I've done on her. She just came in the other day, but I'll eventually have some other videos on her YouTube playlist. Until next time, thank you for watching.